Hey guys, Mr. Hall here, and this is your first Holocaust Journal. I know that you've seen this picture already on your literary elements test that I gave you earlier in the year, but I wanted to start off with it because you had some sort of familiarity with it. Um, so for your assignment, I just wanted you to remember that the two things that you're going to be responsible for answering are, number one, what's my analysis of this particular text, and number two, why did Mr. Hall show us this particular text? So if you want to split that up into two different paragraphs, you can, or if you just like to keep it one paragraph, you can do that as well. And remember, each one of these is worth 10 points, and the majority of your grade will be coming from the content of what you're saying, how much analysis you're providing, and the quality of that analysis. And I'd really like for you to, get interested in these different things we're looking at in order to understand these topics better. So this one right here, let's just assume, since we just finished up our Holocaust presentations, even though the picture is in color, that it happened right after the Holocaust, just for the activity. And let's also assume that the man, and let me get my pen working right here so that you guys can understand what I'm looking at. Give me 1 second. This guy right here, let me get a different color so it's a little bit easier to see. Let me get yellow. That'd probably be the easiest one to see. This guy right here, let's just assume that he is the father of this little girl right here. And this room has been decimated by some sort of bombing that happened in World War II. And he's obviously sweeping up the room, and we have this wall that has been torn down right here by the bombing. And of course, the most iconic symbol in the whole picture is the swastika on the wall, the equal sign, and then the Star of David. You can recognize the Star of David from the presentations. This is the Jewish star that Hitler made all the Jews wear when they had to go into the ghettos and things like that. But what I would like you guys to think about is to start thinking about, what does this picture show us about the Holocaust? And I think the first thing that people look at is this swastika right here equals the Star of David. Now, if you think about it like that, then you might start thinking that the swastika equals the Star of David. Well, maybe it was a Jewish artist who did that, and they were trying to make the statement that Jewish people and Nazis can coexist in the same world, that hopefully this hate ends at some point, and it's a peaceful message. But if you look inside of the Star of David right here, you're going to see a very interesting symbol, and that symbol is a coffin. And that's going to change our interpretation of the picture a lot, because the coffin then makes the symbol be swastika equals Star of David with death. So it's pretty obvious that probably a Nazi artist had made this, and his main message was that of killing again. And what makes the picture even more interesting is the human element that we have right here. The father is trying to clean up the room. And I would like to ask you guys, what do you think that the sweeping out of the room maybe is symbolic of? So we have it in the picture literally, but what's it symbolic of? He's trying to clean up what? So think about that for a second. And I'd like to suggest that maybe he's trying to clean up perhaps the memories of all the things that had happened in the past. So like I said, let's try to think about this a little more figuratively. So he's cleaning up the memories of the past, but then it becomes even more interesting whenever we think about how he relates these things to his daughter right here. What is he trying to clean up for her? And we have this wall right here, which separates the little girl from being able to see this message of hate right here on the wall. So she can't yet see that because she's not old enough. We could make the argument that maybe she's too innocent or young or something like that. But once she grows, she's obviously going to be able to see over that wall and see the message of hate. How is she going to deal with that? I'd like to encourage you guys to think about the fact that maybe your position in the world is kind of like this little girl right here, because you're kind of coming to the age where you're starting to see certain things like that. You're growing, not necessarily like tall, but you're coming to know more things, and you're being confronted with seeing things like this, and that innocence is kind of being erased. Also, I think that we could say that this little girl, in some ways, represents hope for the future. That maybe they can see this message on the wall and start to reverse some of those things because of the hard work of her dad and the people before her. So maybe it's a hopeful message as well. I don't really want to talk for too much longer than that. I just wanted to set you up with a pretty basic reading so you could take some of those ideas, and kind of run with them for a while, and go ahead and use, some of the items in the picture to form your own interpretation of what you see in the picture, and again, how that is important, why you think that I showed you this particular text. Look at the main page of the website for due dates for this. Type up your response as always, double space if you can, and bring it in on Monday. Thanks.